Well, I just want to say thank you to those few souls who have the courage and the tenacity and maybe the curiosity to follow this journey that I'm on and I'm willing to share. It's a very significant time at the point of this recording because it is literally down to the last 3 days of a 1 year program, which has really been for me an 18-month program to get to this point where the next 3 days is the, if you will, the ultimate unification of all of the individual things done month by month. This is the underlying theory. If you could imagine, if you will, looking out onto a dimly lit, misty, dark plain and seeing figures of objects out there until you get closer almost by braille and figure out it's actually broken parts of a train. I mean, the cars are all there and the engine and the caboose and a bunch of other interesting things are there, but none of them are connected really. Some of them are very close together, but most of them are scattered. This is really how I am personally observing the individual parts of my own existence, myself, my soul, my higher self, my, you name it, all of these colors you see behind me are different skill sets of personal attributes or abilities that we all have. So I'm personally interested in how to put all of those parts together and to begin to set them in motion. I didn't realize in the beginning of doing this that the desire to step on the divine love path with feeling and purpose and passion, if you will, and sometimes with great aspiring naivety, ignorance, and lots of mistakes to experiment with the process, I didn't realize that all of these parts of me that correspond to my glands, organs, body systems, grandparents, ancestors, you name it, things seen and unseen, the skill sets of my own soul's ability, and so on and so on, they're all there, but they're not connected. Neither are they directly communicating with each other, because just like these different colors and the little lines between them, there are binary barriers between one and the other. So part of the underlying application or theory of this is we take 1 month and we do just one at a time, starting in the first month of autumn. Now, what it turns out to be, this pinpoint of where all these meet, all access regulated by, theoretically changed by, turns out to be a small area in the back of your heart. Maybe in the heart for all I know, but right now it's at the bottom. I've tried the top and the thymus, which I'll get back to, but I'm saying that there is probably an intrinsic access point where all of these can be experienced, accessed intentionally, with sincerity, passionately, over a period of time. These individual parts can be unified and made available for my sensation, experience, happiness, health, vitality, union, whatever. This is what I'm working on. I want to be all of these active, alive, available, living. Want to be able to share them, use them as skills, instruments of self-growth or growth with others, or shared friendships, relationships, soulmate potentials, all activated from one single place. That single place to me is the very first month of the lunar calendar. I know that sounds odd, but the very first month of the lunar calendar in the northern hemisphere is in September. Theoretically, I think the lunar calendar for the summer is very different than the lunar calendar from the winter, and the lunar calendar in the southern hemisphere is very different than the lunar calendar in the northern hemisphere. I would suspect that's true, but I have no personal confirmation that is true. So everything I'm telling you, you're going to have to filter with your own sense of clarity, purpose, and logic. But I'm pretty sure for myself, to step into this position is the singularity of my existence. Now, whether that's just a body, just a mind, a soul related to spirit, and so on, that's still really to be discovered. So to spend a month doing that, done that, week after week. Now, this corresponds to mother's mother and all the feelings around that and skill sets. I'm going to go through all of them, by the way, so be prepared. I'm going to go through this. There's two primary ones there: empathy, creative imagination, and its ability to access the interior mechanisms of my body that are linked through threads. Somehow I'm going to call them etheric because I don't know whatever name to give them. This is the primary link into all of the glands, organs, other systems, and so on, and skill sets of things I cannot even grasp. A whole month feeling that one on 4 different weeks, each corresponding to a specific experience. The first week, divine in some way. Come back to it later. The second week, self inside my body, personal responsibility for my being, including my physical health. Not easy on the second week. Third week is how I use this one line in relationship to social dynamic functions with people outside me. Third week. Fourth week, heart opens and the opportunity to accelerate the skill set virtues of this position, most of which have not been activated or set in motion, but there is a need to be able to, for me, to build my own desire for empathy, intuitive feeling, consciousness, and a series of other ones that exist in this category. That's just 1 month. Yes, that has to go through your mother and through your mother's relationship to her mother and your grandmother's relationship eventually to her mother and so on. This is the starting point. I urge you in the Northern Hemisphere to start Thursday, if you're watching this in time, to look at timeanddate.com and look up when the equinox, and all the equinox is when the sun goes past the equator. And there is an equilibrium, like a figure 8 for us, it's right in that moment, even though there is a wave of light that comes first called the equilux, which is usually up to 5 days or thereabouts, that arrives at that time. So yeah, there's a lot of very dynamic stuff that's available for us to experience, recognize, appreciate, not necessarily always know what to do with, but at that moment, you're at the crossover point of the figure 8. Your yin and your yang, your mother and your father's family, your vertical, your horizontal axes, you're right there at that point, which is that point. So I'm suggesting that you do everything you can. For myself, that's still 3 days away. So I'm using every hour of the day to strengthen my appreciation of how this month called the 5-girl month, which is the unifying month. Now, in the body, the unifier of all the body systems is the immune system. We call it immune system, but it's a lot more than just the immune system of protection. That 5-girl is the compassion for all living things, seen or unseen. So it's a system of connectedness in the body and outside the body. So this unified wholeness is really what the 5-girl month means to me. Yes, that's my father's mother, and so on and so on. So I'm wanting to go right to that place with as much purpose, intention, clarity, sincerity. Go right to it and ask for divine help to infuse me with the courage, faith, confidence, opportunity, and yes, ask for divine guidance to help me not do anything too stupid or ignorant or blind or childish, but learn how to be able to occupy that because I want to occupy it. This is one of the things that has become really kind of a nuisance with me, is I'm judging myself about how little passion I've had on some things. I mean, your opportunity to feel is regulated by the sincerity of your own desire to do it. You want to feel something? It's up to you. The magnitude, the volume of it, how it works, where it goes, what it's linked to, up to you. But for me, I'm interested in unifying these 12 months. The second month of the autumn has to do with the ability to expand the first month. So my desire to feel is connected to my ability to change. Lots of skill sets, lots of virtues around the heart, knowing how to filter, accept, release, how to forgive, transform, let go of, dark night of the soul, all kinds of stuff available in that second month. Lots more. So yes, it's my great-grandmother. It has to do with the spleen and so on. It has to do with my ability to filter out unloving spirits or to remove physically dead cells in my body. All kinds of things in that one single place, to spend 4 weeks in that one location while realizing the next location is not genetically connected to the first two. The first one, my mother's mother, genetically connected to my mother. The second one, my great-grandmother, genetically connected to my grandmother and my mother and me. Now, these are all genetically connected. The third one is from my mother's father's family, my mother's father's mother, who strangely enough is the mother-in-law of the first one. Yeah, I know that's a lot, but deal with it. These three are an instrument of transformation. If you only do 3 months, starting in the autumn, give yourself the greatest gift you can. Just do the first 3. Experiment with it. The sincere desire to feel. The sincere desire to transform or grow or change or to receive divine love. There is a magnitude of your ability to change or to receive or transform depending on the degree of intention, passion, purpose, and the sincerity based on the amount of time you're actually willing to do it. Month 2. Month 3 is the skin container, because it corresponds to physically the skin, which, by the way, is the largest part of the brain, is incorporated in the function of touch and sunlight and yikes, all kinds of things, melatonin, pineal, and it is not connected to the other 2, except by the emotional intention to unify it with divine help. The sincere desire to take these 3 and weave them together with a loving purpose. 3 months of autumn. Well, on the other side, her son, which is my mother's father, comes next. Then you have 3 men from my mother's family, my mother's father, called number 1, inspiration, lung function, humility, my mother's mother's father, love of truth, change, observation, intellect. The blue one, kind of cool, really. The 5 boy function, authenticity, free will, my mother's father's father, whole bunch of things about what he can do. This is called beauty. To live and experience the free will expression of the artistic benevolence of a universe. Yes, connected to your throat. Kind of cool. That leads into the ascending fire functions, which, yeah, I could probably do a little bit more of that, but this is the 2 boy function of the rising fire. Fire in the belly, passion, purpose, movement, courage, strength, emotional, physical success, all related to my father's father. So going up the scale, his father, father's father's father, joy of the heart, celebration, prosperity, the multiplier of teamwork. Because whenever we join together with someone else to do the same thing, it's not arithmetic. Yeah, at least you get 2 people together doing something, it's probably a 3 or a 5 times working it together. You know, if you do it together with somebody else, you add a 3, it might be a 9 or a 12 times a multiplier. You start getting beyond that, and I can't do the math. So my desire in the next 3 days is to go all the way through these hour by hour, feeling by feeling, accelerating the desire to unify all of these and get ready for them to mobilize. Now, just because I spend a month doing the 5 girl significant ones, just because I sent these are the 3 grandmothers on the father's side, 1 girl, 3 girl, 5 girl, just because I spend a month of each of these doesn't mean they're yet mobilized. All it means is I acknowledge them, desire to want to connect them, put them together by desire and purpose to be able to acknowledge their function. And the 5 girl one is the final clue to get the entire steam train, energy, life force train connected. That doesn't mean it moves. It doesn't mean it's yet available to my experience. Because that one, 5 girl, needs another 3 months in order to complete the cycle. So I need another 3 months after this one to complete the first year. Yikes! I know that's a lot, but that's really what it's about. Now remember, each one of these are people in your family tree. I'm not at all suggesting you have any form of ancestral worship. I'm not at all suggesting that you go research them too much and then try to bring them in and talk to them, cooperate too much with them. Yes, appreciate with some degree of gratitude, but the chances are all of them had difficult lives. Just look at your own grandparents. Look at your great-grandparents, which is about 130 to 150 years ago, was not an easy time in the world anywhere on the planet. Not an easy time. So the likelihood of lots of migration and wars went on, pestilence and famine and you name it, the last 150 years has not been an easy 150 years on the planet. So you can be pretty sure that your ancestry gave you the emotional endowments of their composite suffering. Sorry, but that's how the epigenetic function works. Now, what also works is our ability to access them and say, we want to restore the original blueprint of perfection And I'm willing to go there and lovingly remove whatever is unhealthy to myself, my life, my family, my friends, the world around me, and to restore to the divine perfection that part which is responsible for me to want to grow. I'm not required to have friends. I'm not required to be happy, but that's for boy. I'm not required to be moral or ethical. I'm not required to be that. I want to choose to be compassionate for all living things. I have to want to occupy the parts of me that have been fractured, separated, and have been occupied by other people's unfinished business, and lovingly learn how to clean it all and move toward the restoration that is my divine right to occupy. That's where I'm going. And I'm going to do it as earnestly and as passionately as I can. What I recognize by this being my second year, I'm going to have to increase it by about a 3. That's my estimate so far, 3 to 5 times the degree of passion or purpose or the activating of it by movement or exercise or nutrition. So I need to change my body, move my body, touch the body, posture the body. That's all on week 2, but throughout the whole time period. So I need to grow with almost the hormonal significance of a 25-year-old. Now, I'm not saying it's possible, but I'm going to strive to move my body, grow my body, because that's part of it. Plus, increase my appreciation for all of those glands and organs inside me that I've ignored, not nurtured, taken care of, the liver, the spleen, and all those glands, organs, and body systems. I want to occupy them physically because they're actually sensing organs. They sense things. Every one of those glands and organs, they're designed to give and receive from all the other ones. They're sensing organs. Sensing of higher consciousness. That's why I'm going there. I want to build up my body. Yeah, theoretically, I'm getting better and stronger, and I want to be able to, okay, yeah. So what? I want to see the face of God and give her a big kiss. Yeah, I would like to do that. And so I'm willing to work at it. Yeah, if I'm going to die, I might as well die working at it, right? Yeah, I want to do that. Now, one more last thing. I know that there's all kinds of nefarious influences all around us. Politics, religion, wars, this, that, you name it. Aliens, reptilians, and this and that, and the Palladians, and name it, the Anunnakis and the Bilderbergers, and the forces of vax and non-vax, and this and that, and yuck. I'm not trying to deny it. Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. All the more reason for us to do our own work, join together, and see what else can we do from inside out. Okay, there you have it. It's kind of where I am. Tune in next week because it's the very first week of 2 Girl. And I am going to experience all I can emotionally about what it means. And phew. And thank you, by the way, for all the private questions. Would you mind just sharing some of them publicly rather than just sending me a little text and questions? Oh, okay, you can keep doing that too, but occasionally go ahead and let somebody else see what brilliance there is in the questions you're asking. Don't be afraid. You can handle it. See you, bye.